Good morning, my name is Gloria and I thought I would share some of the things I've knitted and made using Hobbii yarns. So Hobbii is a mostly online yarn retailer. They do have a few physical stores in Europe, but you may have seen their ads online. A lot of their yarns are very cotton themed. That's what I think they're mostly known for. So I thought I would just go through some of these yarns. There's a lot of yarn haul and yarn unboxing videos on YouTube, but maybe some inspiration for stuff that you can actually make and see what you guys think. So anyways, let's get started. Okay, so my most recent finished object is the penny sweater from Tin Can Knits. This is actually it was new to me in terms of the construction type. So first I'll show you the sweater. I knit, I believe, a extra small size, so for a 32-inch bust. And I have followed the needle gauge, all of that. This is not the blocked object. I'm not really a big fan of blocking. It's really hard with a kid running around and to make the time to hand wash these things, so that's really tough. Anyway, so this is the sweater. If you look online, you can actually learn about the instructions, but I'll talk about them right here. The construction is that you actually make each sleeve first, so you make it up to about here. So that's one sleeve, two sleeves, so you're not on a sleeve island. And then afterwards, then you knit the body from the bottom up until where the sleeves attach. And then afterwards, this is knit in the round, all the sleeves are knit in the round, because I love knitting in the round. And then afterwards they are attached, and then the V-neck is worked flat. So once it's attached, you kind of go here, around the back here, to the other side of the V, and then you keep going back and forth in rows to continue this V type of pattern. So for me, this is really interesting in terms of the new construction and this new type of lace. I find that Tin Can Knits, their patterns are actually usually easy to follow. And so overall it's very simple, but it's something to add some spice. Okay, so that's mostly about the sweater. I will try to post a link to the original sweater pattern and see if I can figure out YouTube to put a little picture here while I talk about that, but that's that for now. And I'll talk about the yarn. So I have this little bit left over. So how much I used was, these come in 50-gram balls. This is one of their newer yarns. It's called Blue Ocean Alpaca. And I think the premise of it is that it uses some alpaca fibers. So this says recycled alpaca 30%, and 70% of the yarn is recycled PET, and it comes in a 50-gram ball. When I purchased it, it was just new, I think, so it was $2.95 US for one ball, and I bought 6, and this is the only remainder left. This is maybe half of the ball left, so I used around 5.5 balls, or about 250 grams-ish, 275 grams, just round up to 300 grams for this sweater in the extra small size. And so, yeah, this is, oh, sorry, I forgot to also mention that this is the cropped version of the sweater. There's a cropped version and a long version. When I was knitting it, I did follow the instructions for the cropped version because that one only required 800 yards of yarn. But I did make the body a teeny bit longer because I thought it was a little bit too short on me. So each of these balls is 125 meters for 50 grams. It says it's hand washing and all that fun stuff. So it's kind of nice to see if there's recycled fibers in it and try to do a little bit more for the environment. So this project cost at $295 per ball for 6 balls. I think I wrote here it's $17.70. So I think that's a pretty good deal for a partially alpaca sweater to have more of a budget knit, even though you have these kind of indie dyed patterns. So I thought that was really interesting. So the next items I want to talk about is the pattern is called the Ranunculus Sweater. So I've actually made 2 of them here. The pattern is by Knit Cafe Midori. It's an oversized, a boxy type of tee. You can put it on over different outfits. So something like this, I'm going to actually put it on right now. You could just add it, I find that you can just add it to any kind of outfit. And it's overall very flattering just because it's very off the shoulder. The lace detail is actually quite easy, and the lace detail is quite nice. So I've actually made 2, as you can see. So these are both using some of Hobbii's cotton yarns. So the first one, I'll talk about the one I'm wearing, is their Cotton Kings 8-4 cotton yarn. So here's some of the remainders. I bought 4 skeins, 4 50-gram skeins, and this is what's left, about 1.5 skeins. So the yardage is pretty generous, so I can read them off to you. For this 150-gram ball, we have about 170 meters, or about 185 yards. It's a one weight superfine yarn. It says it's OECO-TEX standard 100 certified. I think it is also machine washable, in the case that I do machine wash my outfits occasionally. So this was, I think if you use, say, like three of these made this sweater, if you round up, at, let's see what my notes here say. This purple one was $195 for one ball, $195 US. So 3 of them would make it $585 to make just the materials cost of making this tee. I really like it. I think cotton is really great for summer. And I just layered it obviously over this like short sleeve dress. So you can just, it's very easy to style if you have a solid color, because solids go with everything. So that's the first one. And then the other one I have here, it's pretty much the same thing. I made it pretty much the same dimensions. I think the yarn is a little bit thicker. This one is similar. This one is, I used their Blue Ocean Cotton. So similar to the Blue Ocean Alpaca, which I talked about in my penny sweater. This one is also made from like recycled cotton and recycled PET fibers. However, the difference is this one's actually machine washable, and there's a bit more yardage. It's about 50 gram. This 50-gram ball is about 150 meters. So I thought this was actually really nice. It has a nice kind of like almost like white speckled jersey kind of vibe to it. It feels a little bit warmer than this one, just because the fiber is a little bit thicker. But I think gray also goes with everything, so I decided to make myself one of each. So that is really fun, and I think that it's a fairly good beginner pattern for a first garment, or maybe like one of your early garments, because it's just like you don't have to worry so much about gauge or like the lace. You can just knit, and like the boxier kind of like the better, and just pick something with maybe a good drape. Or if you think of like a thinner yarn, then obviously the drape will come naturally with these larger needles. And these knit up so fast. I think I knit up both of these in like less than a week each, for sure. Like even with my busy schedule with the baby and only knitting in the evenings or during naps. So I thought it was really good fun. All right. Oh, and I also didn't mention, sorry, the cost for this yarn, this Blue Ocean Cotton, this one is $275 for 50-gram skein. So I used exactly 3. I think I had to play yarn chicken with the ribbing at the end, and so then that would 3 skeins at $275 is about $825 to make this gray tee. So just wanted to mention that as well. I know most of the garments I've talked about so far have all been knitted garments, but I know that Hobbii has a huge crochet community as well. So I thought I would just show you some of the other things that I've crocheted using some of Hobbie's yarns. So this first one is a waffle stitch scarf. So I used let me talk about the scarf. So I just found the waffle stitch online, and I thought it was a very interesting texture. It's different from like something just like a simple like double crochet or triple crochet scarf. And I wanted to add a bit more thickness to it, but not so much that it gets, I don't want to say crunchy, but like very stiff. I think sometimes if you use like, too thick yarns, crochet can get very stiff. Which may or may not be a good thing. Stiff can be warm. This one, I made the scarf for my dad for his upcoming Christmas present. So if you're a dad, then you can see what's coming. This one I also used. This one is an acrylic yarn. This is a red acrylic yarn, and it originally was called Tivoli by Hobbii. And this used to be. They also have another huge brand now. They kind of rebranded it. It's called Amigo now online. At the time of this video. So Amigo yarn, they have like this regular kind of a DK weight, then they have like an Amigo chunky, I believe, and then they also have an Amigo XL. So I think the XL is more of a worsted, the chunky is more of like a bulky, and then they also have an Amigo Giga, which is like super bulky, which I haven't tried all those ones yet, but anyways, I bought this Tivoli also at a Black Friday sale. At the time, when they do Black Friday sales, sometimes they just have like a lot of excess stock and they just want to get rid of it. So at the time, this yarn, I believe, was $125 USD for this like 50-gram ball. Let me tell you about the ball. Okay, so the yarn, it's also OECO-TEX certified, standard 100. This one says it's a weight 3 light yarn. For 50 grams, this 50-gram ball, there's 175 meters or 191 yards. So it's a pretty generous like DK weight, almost fingering, like type of yarn. So I think it crochets up and knits up very well. This one is also machine washable. So that would be really interesting. I have not washed this yet. I was going to hand wash this one just in case, but I might try washing the swatch, because I did a swatch, and I obviously have some leftovers. I can try another one, to see how that would happen in the machine, because I can totally see my dad like forgetting and accidentally washing this in the machine. But I love this red color. I don't think you can go wrong with like a very jewel tone red color. And I just looked up the waffle stitch online and just kind of like estimated some stitch count and like tried it, and that's how I got this beautiful looking waffle stitch. On here, I use a lot of like front post double crochets, I believe, or front post triple crochets. It's been a while since I made it, so I'm not sure of the pattern. And on the back, you still can see like all your other double crochets. So it's actually quite a nice texture on both sides. I find between the yarn and the hook size that I use in this pattern, the drape is quite nice. Like, you know, if you just like do this, it's not, you can just like, you can go like this, and that's like no big deal, versus like, or you can tie it different ways, but it's not too stiff. So hopefully he will love it when he gets it for Christmas. Okay, so as I mentioned, this one was $125 US per 50 gram ball. I believe I used the other 3 balls for this. I have bought 4, I used 3 for this project, and it was, so that brings our total to $375 for like this whole scarf as a materials cost. And I really like it. I think I'm kind of sad that the price is not so low now. I think the prices I've seen recently for like the equivalent Amigo it hovers around $2 per ball. Which is actually not that bad either for like this premium acrylic yarn, but definitely if it's like $125 the next time, I'm probably gonna snag up a lot more. Okay, and so I think I mentioned at the beginning that Hobbii is definitely known for a lot of its cotton yarns, and I think probably like the prettiest yarns are these like cotton cake yarns. They have like lots of gradients, lots of colors, lots of rainbows, and like whenever you see Hobbii ads, I always see these cakes. So I think a few years ago when I did most of this Black Friday order, I also bought a few of their like special Black Friday gradient cakes. Unfortunately, when I made this next project that I'm going to show you right now, I actually used the whole cake, so I couldn't tell you anything that's on the label. I've thrown it out, but I'm sure it's all there, very similar on their other like twister cakes, their twirls. They have twister solids, these kind of like 4-ply cotton yarns that like have really nice color gradients and color changes. So mostly people use it for shawls, but also for blankets and some garments as well. Yeah, I haven't tried knitting with them. I think the only things I've ever made with them are crochet. And like the yarn itself I think it takes some getting used to because it's a 4-ply cotton. If you're crocheting, depending on what kind of hook you use, it can split really easily. So there are tips and tricks to work with them. I haven't bought them since I prefer some of their like other wool-based or like some of their acrylic ones. Like sometimes cotton, you know, some people don't like working with cotton just because like the feel is different, they don't stretch as much. So I haven't had a chance to do those ones, but I will show you what I made with one of those cakes. So this shawl, when I found the pattern for this shawl, it was also for a very similar gradient cake. And the pattern for that it was called like the raspberry shawl. And I will post the link down below in case I've misspoken. But the pattern is pretty easy. You know, it's just kind of like start at the top, start right here at the top, and then just keep going until you like run out of yarn or as long as you want to. So if you see here, like this is the full gradient of it. So it goes from like this dark pink to this light pink. And I mean, it depends. It's already wound into a cake, which is also nice when you buy it from Hobbii. So you could actually start it either way. If I started at the white end and then went down to a darker end, I think that would make a really beautiful effect too. But I think I was like trying to do the center pull, so that'd be a lot easier than like moving it all around the cake. So that is what I chose to do for this yarn. And this one was a really easy like filet crochet. Like I'm pretty sure we watched TV, like whatever we were watching at the time, and then just made this and just keep going until like that last row when you're not going to make it to the end of the row, and then you just take out the rest of the row and like you have like 5 yards left, and that's the end of your shawl. So I love shawls like that because with these like repeatable patterns, and you just have to count very minimally, just like nice TV watching type of pattern, you know, like something that's like a little bit more involved, like back to my Fonda sweater. Like this is not something you can necessarily watch when you can't watch TV while you're doing this part. You gotta really count, you gotta follow your chart, all that kind of stuff. Maybe down here, sure, when you're finishing up your body and all that, that's easy. But something like this you always want to have like some TV projects, in my opinion, so you have a couple going on at the same time, couple work in progress. So I really like doing this one as well. And so at the time for Black Friday, this was one cake, and it was, I think from my like email receipts, it was $8.70. So that's actually pretty good for like making a whole shawl. I think some people do like to make these shawls in advance for, you know, different markets or to give as gifts, and I think it'd be a really good gift. Just because the fact that it's cotton, it's quite light, so even for like some like summer weather with like a slight breeze, you know, you just want to like layer it on top of your dress or whatever you're wearing. So this would be quite nice. The gradient's very summery. You can wear it multiple ways. Oops. Or you can have a shawl pin to like keep it together. So I think it's a very versatile piece as well. So I'll encourage you to check it out. And if you just happen to have one of these shawl cakes laying around, it could be these one skein wonders to make another shawl using that. So I'll leave you with that. So I've walked you through a few of these items that I made with Hobbie's wide variety of yarns from all these different materials and different weights. So I still have a lot of Hobbii yarn in my stash from like, you know, other sock yarns. I have some wool and some more of that alpaca and cotton. So I'll definitely be still working with Hobbie's yarn. So I hope you join me next time to see what other things that we can make. And if you have any other ideas about other yarns I should try, or other budget yarns or not so budget yarns, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this far. I appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful day.